Yeah, George got some. He's got some real good ones. He's got some real bad ones.
I needed a decent one around 80, 90 pounds.
What's a butcher pig worth, George? 50
No. 80, 90 pounds. Yeah,
dollar a pound.
yeah. Give me one whenever. Yeah, we wanted this Friday. Eat it all in one day.
Put it in the ground.
No. We when the bush it and then put them in the hot water and clean them up. And then take the high and make some carnitas and all that kind of stuff.
When are you gonna cook it?
I don't know. I get it and then we get together. Right? I get you some.
Bring me some. Yeah.
There.
You want some, Liv?
Carnitas. Those are good.
Yeah, I'll take some.
Especially if you got a little piece of bone or something. Ooh, a little green salsa and ice cold pork. The best.
Cold, cold Miller Lite be better.
Huh? No. You can keep the beer whatever, but for the food, with a nice cold pork.
Let's get it. Is this screen working?
One of them's working, but the one that this one on this side's not. Is it just black? Is
Yeah.
it just black?
Can it be turned on?
Rock and roll.
'I'll tell you. 10:23. 120, 125, and 25. It'll get 5 of 5, 25 of 5. Going to be 25, going to be 25, going to be 110, 12 of 5, going to be 10, 12 of 5, 15, 17 and a half, going to be 20, 2 and a half, 5, and 25 of 5 here, 750, and 30, going to get 30, bit of 30, going to be 39, 32 and a half, going to get 2 and a half, 5, and 35, 35, you get 5, 35, 35, and 35, there, you get 35, you get 35, you get 35, you get 35 here, cabinet's 132 and a half, X. How come you didn't come in at 125, young man? Ty? How come you didn't come in at 125 where I started them? Okay. It's a good thing the other auctioneer isn't up here. Weigh 'em. 56.95, 56.94. Okay, they weigh 12. Y'all see it now or no? It's on where? Weigh 12.57. 135 and 35, 35, 37 and a half, 7 and a half, 40, you get 42 and a half, good to be 2 and a half, you get 5, 45, 7 and a half, 47 and a half, 47 and a half, 50 and a half, 52 and a half, you get 2 and a half, you get 2 and a half, good to be 2 and a half, you get 2 and a half, 5 and 55, 7 and a half, 57 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and 60 and 2 and a half, you get 2 and a half, good to be 2 and a half, you get 2 and a half, you get 2 and a half, good to be 2 and a half, here, Booker, 160. $110, 12 and a half, 10, you get 12 and a half, bit of 12 and a half, 15, 17 and a half, good to be 20, you get 2 and a half, you get 5, 7 and a half, 30, 30 here, 30 there, 32 and a half, 2 and a half, 5, and 35, 35, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, good to be 37.50, and 30, you get 7 and a half, good to be 30, you get 7 and a half, 7 and a half here, so 135, Booker 11. You got any bread? May take them home. So he's got 2 or more breads, he'll take them home. So just. You're down in what? You're down in Cripple. 4 and 5 years old or 6 months bred. 2,000. 2,100, 2,100, 2,100, sell one, 2,100, and 2,103, and 2,3 to get 5, and 25, going to be 7, going to be 9, to get 3, and now 3,000, and 1, and 31,3, and 33, 31, 33, out of line, 31,2, and 3,200, going to be 31,200, going to be 31,200, going to be 31, to get 200, going to be 31, to get 2, sold her 3,100, Chris 3. You want the big ears or the no ears? One with big ears. 3. I don't remember. I can't read the tags. Hang on, Ricardo.
Yes, please.
Ears worth a lot of money, Chris? Yeah. Quality. She's 6 by 4. 1,500. 15 and a half, and 15 and a half, 16, going to be high now, 17, going to be high, going to be 18, going to be high, going to be 1,900, and 19, and 19, bit of 19, 50, and a high, going to be 19, 2, and 2,000, able to get 2,000, able to get 2,000, Christina, you're out, 2,000, and 2,100, and 2,100, and 21, going to be 200, going to be 21,200, going to be 21, going to get 200, going to be 21, going to get 2, online you're out, 2,200, and 21,200, going to be 21,200, and 21,200, 22, going to get 3, and 23, going to get 3, going to be 23, going to get 3, and now 3, now 4, and 2,400, and 23, going to get 400, going to be 24, going to be 24, you out of line, 24, now 5, and 2,500, and 2,500, now 2,500, now 25, here's holder 2,400, Christina Wade. Christian Wade, my bad, Christian. Christian. Five years old or 6 and 7 months bred. 2,000. 2,100, and 2,100, 21, 21, 2,100, to get 3, and 23 to get 4, and 24 to get 5, and 600, and 6, 7, and 7, 7, 800, and 27 going to be 2,800, and 27 going to be 2,800, and 27 going to be 28, and 9, and 10 high to get 9, going to be 29, going to be 25 to get 9, here going to be 20 heavy to get 9, and 2,900, and 29, and 3, and 3,000 to get 3, 1, and 3,100 to get 31, to get 31, 30, 31, 2, 31, 2, 32, 3, and 33, 33, 33, 34, 34, 34, 34, 4, and 33 to get 34, going to be 33 to 4, here 33 to get 400, sold 3,300, Mavis. $125, 25, you give 7 and a half, 32 and a half, 35, 37 and a half, going to be 40, going to get 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, going to get 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, 42, 55, and 45, 45, 47 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 50, $1.52 and a half, going to get 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, going to get 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, here 52 and a half, 5, and 55, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 57 and a half, here Booker, 155.11. What did we get for that one cow? 30-something hundred? Was it 31? Open cows. What's the ages? 6 to 9 years old. 135, and 35, you give out 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 37 and a half, 40 and 2 and a half, 45, 47 and a half, going to be 50, going to get 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, you get 5, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, and 55, 7 and a half, 57 and 60, and now 60, going to get 62 and a half, going to get 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, going to get 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, going to get 250, and 62 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, 2 and a half, going to get 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, here S, 160 on number 2. 47 years old here, 150, 52.50, and 2.5, 5, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 7.5, 57 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, and 57 and a half, 57 and a half, 57 and a half, 60, and now 60, 60, 62 and a half, 2 and a half, going to be 1, and to get 1, has to get 1, 2, going to be 2, going to be 2, going to be 2, bit of 1, Sue, 2, 61, bit of 2, down to Chris, 161.10. One cow's cripple should be on there. 125, 25, 25, 25, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, going to be 27 and a half, 7 and a half, 750, and 20, 7 and a half, 30, 30, going to be 30, 30, going to be 30, 32 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, 5, and 35, 35, 35, 35, 5, and 35, 5 here, 35 here, 35 here, 35 here, Cavis, 132 and a half, X. Four and 5 year olds. Not checked, are they? $55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 7 and a half, 57 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 57 and a half, 57.50, and now 57 about 60, 62 and a half, 2 and a half, 5, and 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 70, going to be 172 and a half, going to be 75, and 75 here, 75 here, 75 here, 75, 75, 75, going to be 175, and 75 here, 75, 75, 75, going to be 75 here, so 172 and a half, Chris 20. 6 and 7 here, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 7 and a half, 57 and a half, 62 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 5, and 5 here, going to be 165, and 5 here, S, 162 and a half on 2. 62 and a half, S2. $21, gotcha. Matt come out here yesterday. He gonna come out. In just a few years, you'd already know. We know it. $55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 7 and a half, 55, 57 and a half, 7 and a half, 55, 57, 50, and 55, 57, 35, and 35, 35, 37 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and 40, 42 and a half, 2 and a 5, and 45, 47 and a half, 47 and 50, and now 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, here, Booker, 147 and a half. Eight to 10, they're heavy bred. One little Hereford cow's got a little hang down underneath their throat. Should be on there. 8 to 10, they're heavy bred. 5 to 8 months. 1,500, 15 and a half, and 15 and a half here, 16, half here, going to be 17, going to be half here, going to be 18, going to be half, going to be 19, and 2001, and 2100, and 2100 here, 1 here, 2120 round 2, and 2200 here, 150, and 21 and a half here, 1 half and a half here, 1 half here, going to be 2150, and 21 and a half here, 1 half and a half here, 2150, and 21 and a half online, going to be 50 and a half here, half here, going to be half. Sold him 2100. Chris 16.
What auction online did they get on? BB auction. Okay, I just want to make sure I was right. Right, but some of these guys are already signed up with that. Have you had a few calls this morning on that?
Open ladies here, 120. 122.50 and 20 to get 2 and a half, 25, 7 and a half, 30, 32 and a half, to get 2 and a half, 5 and 35, 37 and a half, 37 and a half, 40, going to be 142 and a half, to get 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, 5 and 45, 47 and a half, 47 and a half, 47 and a half, 50, $1.50 pound, going to be 2 and a half, to get 2 and a half, 5 and 55, 55 here, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55 and $55 here, to get 55 here, 55 here, Booker 152 and a half, 11. $125 and 25, 25, 25, 27 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 30, to get 30, going to be 30, to get 30, going to be 30, now 32 and a half, and 32 and a half, going to be 32 and a half, going to be 5, and 35, 37 and a half, 37 and a half, 40, $1.45, to get 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, 5, and 45, 45, 45, 7 and a half, 47 and a half, 50, $1.55, to get 50, to get 52 and a half, to get 2 and a half, 5, and 55, 55 here, 55 here, 55, 55, 55, 55, and 55, to get 5, 55, to get 5, 55, to get 5 here, Chris, 152 and a half, 21. Young cows are 6 and 7 months. What do you consider young? 7, 6 and 7 years old. They're 3 months bred. 2,000, 2,100, and 21, and 2,100, 21, 21, 2,100, 1, and 2, and 3, and 23, and 4, 500, 5, 600, and 26, 7, and 7, and 7, and 7, 800, 8 here, and 2,800, and 27, going to be 2,800, what about half? 2,750, and 27 and a half, now paid, and 2,800, 8 here, 28, and 2,800, 2,800. Sold him 27.50. Chris 3. $10 by 3 and a 10 by 4. 1,500. 15 and a half, and 15 and a half here, half here, half and a half here, going to be 1550, 16, and 16 and a half, now 17 and a half here, going to 1750, 1800 here, 18 and a half here, 18 and a half, going to be 1850, 18 and a half, and 19, bit of 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 1900, and 19, bit of 19, bit of 19, bit of 19, bit of 19, going to be 19, going to be 100. McGee, 1850. good cows.
Decent quality's good. Take Tim one on today. He wants to take him. Sure, I hate him. I bet it's the kid.
You handle it. You handle it. 5 to 7 years old guys here. 135, and 35, you get about 35, 35, 40, and 35, 40, you get 45, 45, 45, 50, you get 50, you get 50, 50, 150, and down 2.5, you get 2.5, 5, and 55, 57.5, 60, you get 60, you get 67.5, 2.5, you get 2.5, bit of 2.5, going to be 250, and 62.5, you get 2.5, 5, and 65, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 70, you get 170, 250, and 70, you get 2.5, 5, and 75, 50, 77.5, going to be 77.5 here, Chris, 175, 3X. Come on, guys. Who's back here? I believe winter's going to be here this year, this weekend, isn't it? It's coming. I feel it right now. Freezing. Here we go. They got them cut off. 110. I'll go. 110, 12 and a half. 10, 12 and a half. Bit of a 10, 12 and a half. 10, 12 and a half. 15, $17 and a half. Going to be 20. Going to get 22 and a half. Going to be 2 and a half. 5 and 27 and a half. 7 and a half. 30. Going to get 32 and a half. Going to be 2 and a half. 5 and 35. 37 and a half. 37 and a half. 37 and a half. 40. $1.40 pound. 2 and a half. Going to get 2 and a half. 5 and 45 here. 45. 45. 45. 45. You get 5. 750 and 47 and a half. 7 and a half now. 47 and a half. 50. $1.50. 2 and a half. Going to get 2 and a half. 5 and 55. 55. 57 and a half. 7 and a half. 7 and a half. 7 and a half. 57. 50 and 57 and a half here. 57 and a half. 7 and a half. 57. Going to be half. Chris, 155. 4X. Four and 5 year old cows. $1.50. $1.55 and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, I got it. 55 and 55 here, 55, 60 and 5 and 65, 70, 170, 175, 75, 75, 80 there, going to be 80, 185 there, going to be 85 and 90, 90, going to be 190, 85, 90 here, 5 and 95, 95, 2, going to be 2, going to get 2, 195, going to be 205 and 205 and 10, going to be 210, 210, 15, 215, 20 and 220, going to get 225 and 225 and 30, going to get 235 and 235, 40, going to get 240, going to get 240, going to be 45 and 245, 50 and 250, we get 250, we get 250 here, going to be 250 and 250, we get 50, we get 50, we get 50, we get 50 down, 50 here, so a little bit 245. Chris, 4X, 3X.
Still might be better buying a 5-weight steer calf.
$1.50. $1.55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, $1.55, and 55, 60, 160, 160, 155, 60, and 55, 65, and 65, 65, 65, 65, 65, 65 here, 5 here, going to be 165 here, Chris, 169. Might be a decent little turnout bull, Chris. You don't like hair, do you? It don't shows. Yeah. How much here, Antone? 125? 130. 135 and 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 40, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 165, 65, 70, 175, give 80, and now 80, 175, give 80, and 75, 83, 85, 85, 85, 85, and 90, and now 90, going to be 95, and 95 and 2, and 95, going to be 195, going to 2, rodeo time, going to be 195, going to $2 here, and tone, 195.
Should get my eyes to focus real good today.
$65, has a good about, has a good about, has a good about, has a good about, 7.5, 70, 72.5, 75, 75, 50, 77.5, 80, and now 80, you give 80, and now 80 there, good to be 80, good to be 80, good to be 80, now 80 there, good to be 80, good to be 80 there, good to be 80 here, Doug, 177, 50 on 7.
No, Doug.
65, has a good about, has a good about, has a good about, has a good about, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 750 now, 70, 2.5, 75, and 75, 75, 75, 35, and 75, 77, 75, 77, 75, 77, and 75, 77, 75, 77 here, sold 175, Cavernous Bull.
We got no cows last till 12. We waited before.
$55, 55, gang boo, 155, and 55, 55, 55, 7, 62 and a half, 2 and a half, 5, 65, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 70, 70, 70, going to be 70, and 70, 70, going to be 70, 70, sold 167 and a half, Doug 7.
They show people look. You don't feel look real good. You're high on. You going to district?
5 to 9 years old. 135, 35, you give out 35, 35, 35, 37 of going to be 40, you get 2 and a half, you give 5, 47 of half, 47 of half, 47 of half, 50, and half, 50, you get 52 and a half, you get 2 and a half, 5, 55, 57 and a half, 57 and a half, 57 and a half, 55, 57 of half, 60, and 2 and a half, you get 2 and a half, you get 2 and a half, bit of 2 and a half, you get 250, and 62 and a half, you get 2 and a half, what about 1, and 2, and 62, 3, and 3, you get 3, and 2, and 3, you get 3, going to be 3, going to be 62, 63, and 2, 3, going to be 3, you get 3 here, sold 162, Booker 11.
I got it. Keep on going on your numbers. Me too. 262, Booker 11. Yep. I think I got the wrong kid on the wrong steer this year. But he can't handle the yellow one. Every year I always have a dickhead. Every year.
Bulls, 155, and 55, and 55, 57, about 60, and down 2 and a half, you get 2 and a half, 65, 65, 65, 65, 65, 65, 65, and 65, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 65, 66 $, and 67, and 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, here's 67, and 67, and 7, you get 7, good to be 7, and 7, here's 7, about 7, here's sold 166, Doug 7.
Sure. Yard those separate. Just keep them separate. 7X. Okay.
230. 230, 40, and 230, 40, we get 30, 40, 235, and 35 here, 35, 35, 35, 35, 235, and 235, we get 5, we get 5, we get 5, we get 5, 235 in tone, 230. Yeah.
I just wondered. I'm talking about the cows for the breed. But it's still the same thing.
You remember years ago when he said, I'm turning out these damn cattle when it cost me $1,800 a head. Hell, that's what my little kids are costing. 175, 75 here, 75, 75, 77 and 750, and 77 and 77 and 77 and group 80, you give 80 there, 2 and a half, group 2 and a half, group 82 and a half, group 8250, 82 and a half, group 2 and a half, Doug, 82 and a half, group 2 and a half, group 2 and a half here, sold 180, Gibbon Bull, 180. X. $1.50. $1.55 and 55, $55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, $1.55, $1.55 here, 55 here, 55 here, 55, 55, 55, 55 here, 55 here, 55 here, 55, 55 here, sold 150, Chris, 10X. Will you be having pigs now for spring? Would they be Kevin right now?
Touch early, maybe.
February?
February.
End of
March anymore. March or April.
gotta have 'em.
Go away. Good way, book.
$1.65, and 65, has a good 7 and a half, 70, 172 and a half, 72 and a half, 75, 750, and 77 and a half, group 80, 82 and a half, group 2 and a half, 82, 55, 85, 85, 85, 85, 85, 85, 83, 5, 83, 85, 87, 87 here, 85, 87 here, 85, group 7 here, sold 185, Gibbon Bull. 75, and 75 here, 75, 50, and 77 and a half, 82 and a half, 82 and a half, 85, 85, 87 and a half, 87 and a half, 85, 87 and a half, and 90, and 190, 90, group 90, group 91, and 90, 91, 91, 91, 91, 91, 91, 91, 91, here, Doug 7, 190. Kibble, you going to the parade? You probably didn't want to. Oh, yeah. Yeah. 75, 75, 50, and 77, group 82 and a half, 85, 85, 87 and a half, 87, 90, group 100, 90, 90, group 90, 90, group 88, 88, 9, and 10, 90, group 90, group 190, group 190, with 90 there, group 90, 90, group 90, Doug, you got 90, 88, 9 here, 90 there, group 90, 90, group 90 here, Cabinets Bull, 189. $1.50. 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 7 and a half, 57, 60, and now 62 and a half, 2 and a half, high, 65, 65, 65, 65, 65, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 72 and a half, 75, and 75 here, both out, 75, and 75 here, 35, and 75, 75, 75, 74, 5, and 75, 6 here, 77, and 77, 77, 77, sold 176, Doug 7. You guys can't see the weights on the screen. You give $2, Rob? Give 190. 185, 85 here, going to be 85, 87, 87, 88, 85, going to be 85, going to get 90, 191, 91, 91, 91, 91, going to get 91, going to get 91, going to get 91, going to be 191, and 91 here, 91, 91, 91, going to get 91, going to get 91, going to get 91, going to get 91, going to be 191. Kevin, it's 190 on bull. I told a man last night that bull weighed 2,500. What if he'd ate? If I did last night. There he is. You give $250 on him, Antone? You got $2? 210.20 and 210.20 and 210.20. Going to be 210 and 210. Not 20 and 220, 220, 30. Going to get 230, 240, 240, 50, 250 and 40, 50. Going to get 40. Going to get 50. Going to be 240, 50 and 240. Going to get 50, 240. Going to get 50. Going to get 50. Going to get 50. Going to get 50. And 50 here. So about 240. Antone. $1.30. 135 and 35. You give out 35, 35, 35, 40. We get 40. We get 5. We get 5. We get 50. We get 55, 55, 57 and a half, 57 and a half, 57 and 60 and 2 and a half. We get 2 and a half. Going to be 2 and a half. We get 2 and a half. 62, 50 and 60. We get 2 and a half. We get 2 and a half. We get 2 and a half. Going to be 2 and a half here, Chris. 160 on 10x. Oh, $1.55 and 55. You give 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 35, 40 and 35, 40, 35, 40, 35, 40, 35. We get 45. We get 45, 45, 40, 2 and a half, high, 47 and a half, and 47 and a half, 47 and a half, 50. $1.50. We get 50. We get 50. We get 50. We get 50. Here, going to be 150. $1.50. And 50. We get 50. We get 50. We get 50. Now 50 here, Doug. 147 and a half, 6. Chris, 10x. Working now. $1.55 and 55. You give 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 57 and a half, 57 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 57.50 and 57 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 57 and a half, 7, 60 and now 60. We get 60. Going to be 60. We get 60, 60, Rob, and 160 and 60 there. $1.60 pound here. 160 here, Chris. 157 and a half. 10x. Fisher wants somebody on the phone just in case. I said they're going to bring way more than you want to give. I'll give $33.50 for them standing right now. I'll come bring you a check. I said, I bet you would. Been there. Wasn't out of sale though. Here, Cheryl, sell something. $1.05 and $105 here. Go to 105. We get 5. We get 5. We get 5. We get 5 here. 50 cents a pound. 60 cents a pound. 70. Give 5. Give 80. Now 5. Now 90. 95. Now $1. Now 5. 105 and 110. Go to be 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 110. John, you're out. 110 and 110 a pound. Go to be 110. But with 10. But get 10. But with 10 here. So 105. Doug 6. $1. 110, and $110, good to be 110, 20, good to be 20, good to get 30, good to get 20, 120, 30, and 120, good to get 30, 120, good to get 30, good to be 120, good to get 30, bid 20, now 30, 40, $140, 50, good to get 50, 60, good to be 160, 70, $170, good to be 70, here is held 160, Ricardo. 10. $135 and 35. You give out 35, 35, 35, 35 here, 5 here, 5 here, 25 and 27 a hand, 7 a hand, 32 a hand, 32 a hand, 35, 37 a hand, 37 a hand, 37, 40, $140, we get 2 and a hand, going to be 2 and a half, we get 2 and a half, 42, 50, and 40, we get 2 and a half, going to be 40, we get 2 and a half here, sort of 140. Chris, 10x.
Well, there's 42 in one group selling 5 at a time, with maybe an option, but I don't know if I will or not. I'm gonna keep a little farmer package.
135 and 35. You give out 35, 35, 35, 40, 135, 40, we get 40, we get 35, 40, and 35, 40, we get 40 hand, 45, 45, 45, 47 a hand, 47 a hand, 47, 50, and 40, we get 7 a hand, 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 a half here, Booker, 145, 11.
Oh, they'll weigh 10, 6 to 11. Some of them might weigh 12. You got a deal?
5 years and she's 4 months. Who give 2,000? 2,100 and 21 and 2,100. 2,100. 2,120 and 1 and 2,100 and 2,100. 2 and 22, 3 and 23. We get 4 and 24. Now 500. 6 and 2,600 and 25, 600. 5 going to be 2,600. 5 to get 6. So 2,500. Cowboy. Three years, she's 7 months, and she don't have a real good side of a face on my side. 10 by 7. 50 cents a pound. 60 cents a pound. 60 cents a pound. Calf may not be blind. You give 60, Terry? 70. 80. 90. $1. You give $1, Chris? You give $1, Roy? 90 bucks. S1X. Hey. Still got your clubby pair? Yeah. She might be a cow of the year. 165. 165 and 65 and 65 and 55 and 55, 57 and 57 and 60 down 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 5 and 65 and 65 here you're going to be 165, 7 and a half and 7 and a half, 7 and 70 and now 70, we get 70 now 70, we get 70, we get 70 here's all 167 and a half on Booker. $130, 132 and a half, and 32 and a half, 35, 37 and a half, going to be 40, we get 2 and a half, you get 5, 45, 45, 45, 7 and a half, 47 and a half, 50, and 52 and a half, you get 2 and a half, 5, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, you get 5, now 5 here, 5, you get 5 here, 55, you get 5 here, Cavness, 152 and a half. 175. Yes, 75 here. 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, 75. Another 75, 750, now 80. And now 81 here. Going to be 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 85, 85 here. 84 and a 5, 600. 86 here. 85, 86, 7. 87 here. 86, 7 here. 87, 7 here. So 186, Gibbon. Boo. $125 and $125 and $25, $25, $25 here, $125 here, $125, $30 and $25, $35, $35, $35, $35, down $40, another $40, going to be $40, $40, $7.5, $40, $40, $40, another $40, $40, $40, $40, $40, 2.5 and 42.5, 42.5, 2.5, 5 and 45, 45 here, Doug 6, 140, 2.5. $1.60, 2.5, and 2.5, to get 2.5, to get 5, to get 5, to get 5, 7.5, 7.5, 70, to get 70, now 2.5, 75, 77.5, 77.5, 80, 80 there, 2.5, to get 2.5, 5, 85, 85, 83, 85 here, 87 here, 85, 87 here, 85, going to be 7, sold 185, Doug 7. Is that yours, Chris? Gotcha. Five-year-old cow, 135, and 35, you got 35, 35, 40, and 45, 45, 55, 55, 65, and 65, 65, 65, 65, 65, 70, 170, and 65, 70 there, 170, 70, 70 here, sold 165, done, 22. That'll be at 105, and 105 here, go to 105, to get 5, 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 10, go to be 110, to get 15, 20, and 25 here, 25, and 25 here, 125 here, 125, to get 5 here, 525, and 25 here, Booker, 120, 11.
You know who our Booker buyer is? Kendra Hooper's brother.
Dollar 5 and $105 here. Good to be 105. To get 5. To get 5. To get 5. To get 5. 105. 105. 105. 105. $105 a pound. Good to be 105. To get 5. 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 And 5 here. 10. Good to be 110. But a bit 10. 15 and 15. 20 and 20 here. 120 here. 120 here. Cavex 115. Where you been, Ty? Where you been? $125 and 25 and 25 here, 125, 30 and 25 to get 35 and 35, 35, 40 to get 40 to get 47 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 40, another 40 pound, 42 and a half, to get 2 and a half, 2 and a half, to get 2 and a half, 42 and a half here, so 140 Booker straight.
Who's got cows here besides your deal? You got some more cows? Done? Good.
135 and 35, you get 35, 35, 35, 37 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, and 30 to get 7 and a half, going to be 30 now, 7 and 40 to get 42 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, to get 2 and a half, but a 250 and 42 and a half here, but a 2 and a half, to get 2 and a half here, Booker 140, 11. Not as big as last week. More than that. 4,000. 135 and 35. You give out 35, 35, 35, 35, 30 half and 37 of and 37 and 7 and 7 and 7 and 7 and going to be 40 and then 40 and 2 and a half going to be 2 and a half 5 and 47 and 7 and 7 and 50 50 and 50 and 7 and 50 50 50 here Booker 147 and a half. Seven years and she's 5 months bred. 2,000, 2,100, and 21, and 2,100, and 21, 21, 200, 203, 3 and a half, 4 here, 5, and 2,500, and 2,500, 5 here, 5 you out of line, 2,500, and 2,500, 4 now 5 now 6, and 2,600, and 26 now 7, and 27, and 7, and 7, and 7, and 7, and 7 here going to be 2,700, and 27, 27, going to be 27. Christian, you're out 27, and 7, and 7, and 7, and 7, and 7. 700 here, Chris, 2,600, 3. Here comes a 4-year-old fat cow here, $1.50. 52 and a half, and 5, and 55, 57 and a half, 7 and a 60, and now 60, we get 60, middle of 60, we get 60, and 2 and a half, we get 2 and a half, 65, 65, and 65 here, 5 here, 5, sold 162 and a half, S21. Yeah. 135 and 35. You give out 37 and a half, 37 to 40 and 2 and a half, 42 and a half, 42 and a half, 45, 45, 47 and a half, 47 and a half, 50 and 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 5 and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55 and 55 here, 5. You give 5 here, 5 here, Chris 152 and a half, 21. 55, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, and 55 here, 5, 55, 7 and 7 60, and now 60, 160, and 60 there, 160 here, Chris, 57 and a half on 10. What do you hear, fellas? Old cow. 120. 125 and 25 and 25, 25, 25, 25 here, 5 here, going to be 125, 120 10 and 10, 12 going to be 110, 12 going to be 110, 12 here, 10, 15 and 15, 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 20 and 120, going to get 20, going to be 20, bit of 20, going to be 20 here, so 117 and a half, Cavex. 152 and a half, and 5, and 55, you give out 55, 55, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 60, 160, 160, 160, and 60 there, 62 and a half, and 2 and a half, 5, and 65, and 65, 65, 65, 65, 65 here, 5 here, 5 here, Booker, 162 and a half. Turn your radio down, please. $50. 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 60, and 60, we get 5, going to be 70, we get 5, going to be 80, now 5, going to be 90, we get 5, and 95, and 95 here, 95, 95, 95, we get 95, we get 95, we get 95, 95 here, S, 91. 10 years and she's 5 months, 125, 30, and 25, 30, and 25, it'll get 30, 25, it'll get 35, 40, it'll get 5, it'll get 50, it'll get 5, it'll get 60, now 5, you get 60, and 55, 60 there, 60, now 5, and 65, 65, 65, 70, it'll be 170, $75, $75, $75, you're out on line, $75, and 75 here, 175 here, so 170, is that Lewis? Number 1, Lewis, number 1. $10 years and 5 months, 120. 125, and 25, you get 25, you get 30, you get 5, you get 40, you get 5, you get 50, you get 5, going to be 60, now 5, now 70, now 5, and 75 here, 75, 75, 75, 80, $1.80, 75, give 80, 175, give 80, sold 175, Lewis won. If Mr. Mavis bought some of those bred heifers and calmed down his herd a little bit, that might not be a bad deal. I said, if Mr. Mavis buys some of these bred heifers, as gentle as they are, that might calm down the rest of your herd. They are dog gentle now. I'm talking, they're nice. Bred heifers sell at 12 o'clock. What do we got here? Jersey? You have $1? $100.10, and $100.10 here, $110 here, $110 here, $1 a pound here, 75 cents a pound. Now 80, 75, give 80, and 75, 80 there, 80 here, 85 here, 85, 90, and 90, and 90, and 95 here, 95, $1 be 105, going to be 110 here, 110, $100.10 here, 110 here, showtime, 105. 120, 125, it's 25 here, 125 here, 5 and 30, 5 to get 30, 5 to get 30, yes, 125, 4. $2. 210.20 and 210.20. You get 210.20. You get 210.20. Bit of 20. Good 20. Good 20. 210. 220. Now 30. You get 30. 40. You get 40. 50 and 50. 60 and 260. 70. You get 270. You get 280. You get 290. 80 to 90 here. 80. You get 90 here. Guess who here? 80 to 90 here. Bryce. 280. She's already open. Bryce, put her on number 9. Here's Bred 4 by 3, 1,500. 15 and a half, and 15 and a half here, half here, half here, bit of half, 15.50, and 15 and a half here, 16, 16, 17 and a half, and 17 and a half, 18, half here, 18 and a half, and 19, now 2, and 2,000, and 2,100, and 2,100 here, 1, 2, 21, 200, and 21, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and 22, 3, and 22, 3, going to be 22, 3, 3, and 22, 3, and 22, 3, going to be 22, 3, Ricardo, 2,200. Put him on number 100. Old cow here, 50. 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 60, 55, going to be 70, 55, going to be 80, 55, going to be 90, and 95, and 95 here, 95, 95, 95, 95, S, 90, on 1. 30 or might turn around on some wheat pack. $125, yeah, 25, and 25, 25, 30, and 25, 30, 5, 30, 30, and 35, 5, and 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 30, sold 130, Booker. 11. Straight. 11.5. I got a saddle for sale. 175, yeah, 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, and 75, 50, and 77 and a half, 77 and a half, 750 and a half, 77 and a half. Here's sold 175, Doug 7. Put him on number 8. $75, yeah, 75 here, 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, 75 here, 75 there, 75 here, 75, 70, and 70, 80, 80 there, 80, good to be 80, good to be 80 point, 80 dollar point here, good to be 81, 81, 81 here, 81 here, Gibbon Bull, 180. Jensen's here, they might want to buy a few. Exactly. They are. I love them. When I was taking video, I videoed them. I said, "There's a good one right there." The white underneath. Oh, you did? $55, 55, 57, 62 and a half, 65, 7 and a half, 70, 170, 172 and a half, 72 and a half, 5, and 75 here, 75, 75, 75, 35, and 73, 75, 73, 75, sold 173, Doug 8. Weigh about 12, 1,300, yeah. Five up to 40, we'll sell 5. If we get to 45, get to 45, no auction. Okay, okay. What's this guy think?
Nail therapy. Nail and habit.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Last cash right there, 35, and 35, you go about 35, 35, 37, going to be 40, and 2 and a half, 45, 47, going to be 50, going to get 2 and a half, 5, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, and 55 here, 5 here, 5 here, 55, and 52 and a half, 55, 52 and a half, 55 here, Booker, 152 and a half. We played cards like that a long time. Forgot how. Forgot how. 135, and 35, you go about 35, 35, 35, 37 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 40, and now 42 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, 5, and 45, 45, 45 here, 5 here, 5 here, going to be 145, and 45 here, 5 here, same way, 142 and a half. Yeah, that's Kirsten talking about. You want to talk to these gals and then you're good at talking to them. Yeah, what? Oh. Okay, yeah. 8 to 10 years old. They're 5 to 7 months bred. Nice set of cows. What about these? 2,000. 10 years old. They're 5 to 7 months. 8 to 10 years old, 5 to 7 months. 2,000, 2,100, and 21, and 2,100, and 2,100, 1, 2, 3, and 23, and 23, and 2,300, and 22, 3, and 3, and 4, 5, and 25, and 24, 25, 24, 25, 24, 25, 24, you get 5, you got up here, 2,500, you got Lewis, and 25, 4.5, 5, and 25, and 2,500, 5, you got a line, 2,500, and 2,500, 5, you got 25, and 2,500, 5, you got 25, 5 here, Lewis, 24.5, 1, 3. 10 years, and they are, how far, Brad? 3 and 4 months bred, 3 to 4 months bred, 2,100 and 21, and 2,100, 2,100, and 2,100, 135, 40, weigh 'em, and 35, 40, and 35, 45, and 45, 50, and 5, 55, 55, 60, and 5, and 65, and 65, yeah, Lewis, 65, daughter 65, and 65 here, 165 here, daughter 65, and 65, and 65, sold 160 McGee, 160 on McGee, online buyer. One lame cow, they're both going to go. 125. 125, and 25, 25, 25, 30, 30, 125, 30, 25, 30, 25, 35, 35, 35, 35 here, 2.5, 5, and 35, 35, 35, 37 and 7 and 7 and 50, and 40, 40, good to be 40, 40, 2 and a half, 250, and 42 and a half, 42 and a half, 5, and 45 here, 45, 5, 47, 50, and 47 and a half here, 47 and a half here, Booker, 145. That cow's 8-year-old. She's 6 months. Eight, 9-year-old or 6 months bred, guys. 2,000. 2,100 and 2,100, 2,100, 21, down 2, and 22, and 22, 1, 2, 3, and 23, 3, and 23, 400, what about half? 23.50, and 23 and a half here, now 4, and 2,400 and a half here, 4 and a half, 24.50, and 24 and a half here, 4 and a half, 4 and a half here, half here, going to be half, so about 2,400 and tone. $135 and 35. You go about 35, 35, 37 and 37 and going to be 40 and 2 and a half, 45, 47 and a half, 50 and 50 and 55, 52 and a half, 52 and a half, 5 and 55, 55, 55. Doug, yeah, 55, 55, 55, 55 here. Booker, 52 and a half. Booker, 152.50. I don't know. He was alive today.
Johnny Ellison. Johnny Ellison's supposed to.
Barely.
Johnny Ellison. Never know what we're
Mm-hmm.
Artist is supposed to when you get back to town.
Dale.
Back if he had brought a couple.
65, 65, 7 and a half, 72 and a half, 75, 75, 75, 70, 70, 80, and now 83, 80, 1, 3, 81, 83, 5, 87, 87 here, 86, 7, 87 here, 87 here, 87 here, so 186, Doug 7. 8, Doug 8. Could be. Boy, he had nice cattle. Wow. 75, 75, 7, 77, 77, 83, 81, 83, 85, 87, 85, 87, 87, now 8, 80, 85, 90, 90, 91, and 90, 91, here, 91, 91, sold 190, Doug, 8. Where's this place at?
Around that curve, you said big house, real nice long driveway, big house, big den.
Oh, it is? I didn't know that. Bat feet cow, $100 bid, 105, and 105. Here we go to 105, you get 5, 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 105, 110, 105, 110 here, 105, 110, 15, 20, 120, and 20, now 5, and 25, 30, you get 30, now 30, and 30, 30, you get 30 here, cabinet 125X. $135, and 35, you go about 35, 35, 42 and a half, 45, 47 and a half, 47 and a half, 50, you get 50, 50, 150, and half, 50, you get 50, 50, you get 50, you get 52 and a half, you get 2 and a half, you get 2 and a half, 52 and a half here, now 5, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55 here, 5 here, Booker, 152 and a half. $0.50 a pound. 55, 55, you get 5, 55, 55, 55, 55, 60, you get 5, going to be 70, you get 5, going to be 80, you get 5, going to be 90, you get 5, now 95, 95, 95, and 95 here, 5 here, 5 here, you get 95, and 95 here, taco truck, 90 cents a pound. Ricardo. $50, now 5, and 55, and 55, you get 5, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 60, you get 5, going to be 70, you get 5, going to be 80, you get 5, going to be 90, you get 5, and have $1, $1 be $1 pound, going to be $1, 5, 105, 105, 105, now 10, 105, 110, and $10 here, 110 here, 110, same way, 105 on number 10, Ricardo 10. $1.50. $1.55, 55, you get 5, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 60, now 5, now 65, 65, 65, 70, you get 75, now 75, get 75, get 75, and 75 here, 70, 80, 90, 90, now 2, and 190, you get 2, 190, you get 2, 190, you get 2, so 190, done, 22, done, 22. $65, and 65, and 65, 65, 65, 65, 7 and a half, 70, 172 and a half, 75, 75, 750, and 77 and a half, 77 and a half, 750, and 77 and 80, 80 here, Doug, 177.50, number 8. I know it. Better call and check on him. Where's that fella at? I need him to bid on them heifers. Start me on them heifers here in a little bit. Kind of gotten used to it. He gets me started on a bunch of them. He really does. All right, guys. You guys, we're waiting on the sorters to get a few of them sorted up. So if you guys need to go get a coffee or do something. We're going to sell the heifers at 12 o'clock. Waiting on the sorters, so I don't know how long it'll be, but go get your coffee or whatever you need. calves back here.
Stop and do his shit first.
McDowell sending. Golly.
Yeah, you gotta read all my emails. We got time already. I'll show them to you.
$74.
No, 62. 63. There's a few opens. I'm talking fancy and gentle. Oh yeah. It'll be worth your wait. We'll start at noon. That's when we advertised. I figured we'd have enough cows to wait. Hey, gentle. Walk all around them. I'll tell you the story in a little bit when I get on the mic. Let's show you my first email.
I'll bring 3 steers after that wild finish is coming in.
I ain't reading all that.
Look at it.
That'll take me all day.
Hey, look here.
clock, move. $1.50, now 5, and 55, jigga 5, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, jigga 5, 55, now 5, and 55, 5 here, 5 here, 60, 65, and jigga 5, 70 there, 170, $1.70 pound here, 170, and 70 here, sold 165, hand tone. $165, and 55, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, and 55, 57 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 57 and a half, 7 and a half, 750, and 57 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 760, and half 60 there, $1.60 here, 160 here, cabinets full, 157.50. $1.50. 55, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 60, and 60 here, 5, 60, here, 5, going to be 60, here, 5, going to be 60, here, 5, going to be 60, given bull, 155X. Mustache. 135, and 35, you go out 35, 35, 35, 35, 40, you get 40, 35, 40, and 35, 40, you get 40, you get 42 and a half, you get 2 and a half, you get 2 and a half, 5, and 45, 47 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and 50, $1.50, you get 50 and a half, 52 and a half, you get 2 and a half, you get 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 52 and a half, 52 and a half, and 52.50, and 52 and a half, you get 2 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 and a half here, Chris, 150, 10X. Got some more? Eight to 10 years old or 3 and 4 months bred. There's a nice set of cows. 2100 and 21 and 2100 2100 not 2 and 21 and 1 2 3 and 23 3 and 23 and 250 and 22 and a half 3 and 23 3 and 23 3 going to be 2300 and 23 online going to be 23 and 23 3 and a half here going to be 23 50 not 4 and 2400 and 2400 here with a 4 here 24 and 24 24 24 24 24 24 yeah Paul 24 and 2400 and 20 to get 400 going to be 20 and 400 going to be 2400 here so it'll be 2350 Lewis number 1. Eight to 10 years old or 5 to 7 months. 5 to 7 months, 2,000, 2,100, and 21, and 2,100, 1, 2, 1, 2, to get 3, and 23, 23, 23 and a half, 23 and a half, 23, 50, and 23 and a half, 4, and 24 and a half, going to be 24 and a half, going to be 24 and a half, going to be 24, 50, and 24 and a half, half here, half, and 24, 50, and 24 and a half, going to be 24 and a half, going to be 24 and a half, going to be 24 and a half. Now 5, 2,500. 2,500, you out of here, 25, 25 to get 5, 25 to get 5. Sold him 24 and a half, Christian Wade. Buck 35, and 35, you give out 35, 35, 37, going to be 42 and a half, 45, 47 and a half, 50, 52 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, whatever the one, 50 point, and 50 point, and 51, 2, 1, 2, 30, 53, 53, 53, 53, 53, and 53, 53, 53, 54, and 54, 5, and 55, you give out 55, 55, 55, 55, here, 5 here, going to be 4, not 5, and 55 here, 5 here, going to be 4, you get 5 here, so 154, Booker 22. Just 2 of them, 3. 125, and 25, you go back 25, 25, 25, 27 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, going to be 27 and 30, going to get 32 and a half, going to 2 and a half, going to get 2 and a half, 5, and 35, 37 and a half, 37 and a half, 40, $1.45, going to get 40, going to get 40, going to get 40, going to be 42 and a half, going to get 250, and 40 and 2 and a half, going to be 42 and a half, going to get 42 and a half, here's on 140, Booker, 11. Threes and 4-year-olds here got $1.50. $1.55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 60, 55, 65, 65, 65, 65, 65, yeah, Caleb 70, $1.75, and 75, give 80 there, 80 here, 75, give 80, and 75, give 80 there, 80 there, 80 here, done. 175, 22. One cow's a little crippled. They're all going to go, guys. One cow's be a little bit crippled. They're 6, 7 months bred. 1,500. 15 and a half, 15 and a half here, half here, half here, half and a half here, 16, and 1,600 and a half here, 16 and a half here, half here, half here, 16 half, 17, and 17, 1,700, and 17, 18, 18, going to be 1,800, 1,800 here, 18, 19, and 1,900 here, 19, half here, going to be half, 19 and a half, and 19 and a half here, 2, and 2,000 here, going to be 2,000, able to get 2,000, both guys online, you're out, 2,000. And 2,000, able to get 2,000, able to get 2,000, now 50, and 20, 50 and a half here, 1, and 2,100 here, 1, and 2,100, and 2,100 here, Paul, you're out, 2,100, and 2,100 here, 1 here, 1, and 2,100 here, 1 here, sold him, 2,050, Lewis 2. 125, and 25, and 25, 27 and a half, 7 and a half, and 27 and a half here, half here, and 25, and 25 here, and 27, 50, now 30, and now 30, to get 30, now 30, and 7 and a half, going to be 30, to get 30, 30, going to be 30, 30, going to be 30 here, Booker 11, 127, 50. Can't stop yawning. I'm like a grizzly bear. If it gets cold, I want to stay indoors, hibernate. How's your calves look on wheat? Big? When are you going to sell them? Wait till the market drops? Yeah. Your dad wants to. That's what your dad was saying. We could walk them from the pasture. What are they weigh? 9? Are that big? 4 to 9. show pigs look? Huh? Horrible. Huh? Run away. 3 years, and she's 5 months, 2,000, 2,100, and 21, and 2,100, 2,100, 1, 2, and 23, 3 and a half, 4, 5, and 25, 6, 7, and 7, 800, 9, and 29, 3, and 3,000, 9, 3, and 29, 3,000, and 1, and 3,100, and 31, 2, 1, 2, you're out of line, 3,200, and 3,200, 1, 2, and 3,200, 1, 2, 2, and 3,200, 1, 2, Mavis, 3,100. Big brisket, okay. 6-year-old, she's 6 months. She's got an enlarged brisket. $1. 105, and 105, and 10, 110, and 105, 10, 110, 10, 15 here, 115, 20, and 20 here, 120 here, 120 here, 15, 20, and 20 here, 120 here, 120 here, so 115 hand tone. $135, and 35, you give out 35, 35, 35, 35, 37 and a half, 7 and a half, 7, 50, and half, 40, you get 42 and a half, good 2 and a half, you get 5, and 45, 47 and a half, 47 and a half, 50, and half, 50, you get 50, you get 50, you get 2 and a half, good 2 and a half, good 52, 50, and 52 and a half, bit of a half here, good 2 and a half here, canvas, 150 on nothing. $1.50. $1.55, 55, 55, 55, 60, 55, 70, 175, 75, 75, 75, 75, and 75 here, 175, yeah, now 180, 80 here, 80 here, 80 here, sold 175. Ricardo. She's open. $3. $3.05, and $3.05, get 5, get 5, now 5 here, 5 here, 5 here, going to be 305, and 305 here, 5, get 5, now 5 here, 5 here, Ricardo, $3. Cinco open. Cinco better. $135, and 35, you go out 35, 35, 35, 35, 40, and 35, 40, 35, 40, 35, 40, 45, 45, 50, 50, now 50, and 45, 55, 55, 55, 60, and 65, 60, 5, going to be 60, Chris, 155, 3X. Hey, how do you say open?
Abierta. Abierta.
Abierta.
Yeah. Just like it.
Abierta.
Just like it. Close. Open.
Abierta.
Abierta. Abierta. Abierta.
Wide, open, abierta. Open is the same thing as abierta.
Did you know that?
Now you know abierta.
You take Spanish class? My kids do. They don't learn shit, but they take it.
$55 and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, $55 and 55 here, 5 here, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 7 and a half, 5, 2 and a half, 5 and 55 and 55 and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55. Yeah, Rob, 55 and 55 here, Doug, 152 and a half, 8. Too hairy for you, Chris? Too much hair on his head? Yep. No, it didn't. Scratch it all off. Big-headed bull. $65 and 65 and has a good about 7 and a half, 70, 72 and a half, 72 and a half, 75 and 75, 50 and 77 and a half and 83, 82 and a half, good with 2 and a half, what about 1, 81, 2, 83, 84, 85, 86, 86, 7 here, 87, 87, $8, 88, 88, 9, 89, 90 and 90 here, 1, 91, 91, 91 and 92, 93, 92, 3, 4 and 94 and 94 there, 4, 93, 4 here, so 193. Doug, 8. All right, guys, 5 minutes. We're going to sell them bred heifers. 5 minutes. Hello, Matthew. Arietta.
You got your pen over there, Vivian? And a paper to Montoya.
Here, right here.
Is that an R? Abierta.
Abierta. Just like ah. Yeah. Finger. Faster, faster.
I can't feel it, no. Used to aim this way and I could feel it, but I get so hot. I get so hot. And I said, you got to turn that thing that way. Now I can't feel it at all. And there's a heater that runs under here, all the way down from there to here to Lydia. So I get stay pretty warm. Hey, Bryce said he bid 301.35 on that 700-pound heifer. Huh? You want Bryce to have her?
want that heifer?
Hold on, I gotta turn my volume down. I was just joking. If he needs her, I was just fucking around with you because
If you don't take her, at $3 now, she's going to cost $3.75 tomorrow.
Well, I mean, I don't want him to lose a bunch of money because he's probably right.
You ready, Johnny? Bryce. Bryce.
Yes.
Ricardo, they say you guys real close friends. He let you have it for $2.50. Let's go. Hey, let's go. Let's go, guys.
I'll have to send him a Christmas present then.
All right.
He's gonna resell
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
You ready, Johnny?
Okay.
Let him do that.
All right, man.
Better deal for him.
You bet. See you, bud. All right.
He's random, no flags. All right, we're fixing to start on these bred heifers, guys. I just want to give you a little information about these real quick. Come down there at Water Valley, Texas, down there north of San Angelo. This family has been raising cattle since the 1910s, so over 110 years they've been raising cattle. Back in the 80s, they started Angus. They went to Angus cattle. All these heifers, guys, I'm going to tell you, if you don't have social media or anything like that, give you a little background on the genetics. All these heifers will be going back to 44 Angus bulls, Peterson Angus bulls, and Bar Z, the vetch bulls down there, and OA Brown bulls. Every one of these heifers are bred to low birth weight Bar Z vetch Angus bulls. I got all the bull information on my phone if anybody needs it. The birth weights are from 55 to 75 on them Angus bulls, so I don't think you guys are going to have any trouble. All these heifers was vaccinated twice with Barvac, with Somnus at branding and at weaning, and then back in the spring of 25 they gave them all Lepto. So everything's done. They've been raising cattle for, like I said, 115 years. The only reason this all one raising, all one iron, the only reason they're selling this dry, they have not had a rain since late September. So I think the cattle speak for themselves. They're not too fat. They're not too thin. I think they're perfect condition to calve, and I think it's going to be a very, very easy calving group. Like I said, we got 60, I think 2 or 3 of them that are confirmed bred. We had a few opens there we're going to sell Wednesday on the feeder turn. Guys, we're going to sell them in groups of 5. There'll be a few groups of 4, maybe a couple groups of 6. There's 42 in this sort. They'll be all black. I pulled the baldies off, and then anything that had just a shot of ear Brangus influence, we got them grouped off later too as well. So there's, like I said, there's 42 in this particular sort. This have an auction, Johnny. We want to thank the Dermer family from down there at Lone Wolf Operations, Water Valley, Texas. Like I said, an outstanding set of Angus heifers, guys. You can drive the wheels off to find a set that's more gentle than a set. He sold all his feed bins and his feed boxes. He feeds every one of these things and his cows with feed sacks so he can control the pounds that they get. And I promise you, he said, ever since I did that, the disposition of all these cattle, I promise you, me and Oakley sorted them last night. There ain't a wild one in the group. They're easy to handle. It's absolutely opportunity to sell a set like this.
All right. Thank you, George, for all that information. Like he said, he's got all the information on those bulls if you do need it. After we get done with the sale, get with George. And there's going to be all these heifers will be calving in a 90-day window, 90 days. This first group here looks like they're all going to be.
Hey, John will start February 20th from when you put the bulls out. They stop May 27th.
They turn the bulls out with them February 20th.
That's when they'll start.
Well, that's when they'll start calving, February 20th to May. These look like they're going to calve maybe tonight, George.
February 20th, John.
Well, you hope you get that far.
We'll make that call here in a minute.
You're getting ahead of the time. Nope.
Well, weighs 1135. I mean, they're gonna be
These first 5 are weighing 1135, guys, and here is the opportunity to get started in the cattle business, to get started, increase your cattle herd, whatever you want to do. We're selling the high times of the year. These calves, if you're in here on Tuesdays, you see what some of these record prices of these 4 and 5, 6 weight cattle are bringing here on Tuesdays. I mean, opportunities are knocking on the front door, guys. All you got to do is just open it up. 5,000, if you get 5, if 1,000, 5,000, 5,000, if you get 5, and 5,000, 5,000, if you get 5,000, if you get 5, and 5,000, 5,000, if you get 5, and 5,000, very wild, aren't they, George? And 5,000, and 5,000, 3,000, 3,250, and 3,500, and 35, 37, and 37, 4,000, and 4,250, and 42 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, if you get 2 and a half, 41, and 4,100, 3, and 41, 2, and 41, 2, 4,200, 41, give 2, and 42, and 41, 2, 4,200, George, the first set's always the cheapest.
It's always the cheapest. I'm telling you guys.
Hold your gate.
You ain't gonna find them any gentler, any better. Hold your gate. Hold your gate. Hold your gate.
Guys, these things are gentle as can be. I come out here last night, took some videos, took some pictures. I mean, these things just walk right by you like a little old house cat. Walk right by you. I think so, too. We got 41 bid. Go to be 2. 4,200. 41, give 2. And 4,200. And 4,200 at 3. And 43 to 3. 43 to 3. 4,300. And 43 to 3. And 43 to 3. 43. And 43 to 4. And 44. And 4,400. 4,400. And 44 unit. 44. And 4,400. 43 to 4. And 44. And 4,400. 43 to 400. 44. 44. 44. Got 43. Going to be 4. 4,400.
We'll give them an option on the first 42. 5 up to 42.
All right, George was going to stop the sale, and he's going to give you an option, guys. You can buy 5 up to 42 in increments of 5. We got 43. Going to be 43, 4, 4,400, and 44, and 4,400 here, 43, 4, and 4,400 here, 44, and 43, 44, 43, 44, and 4,400, even to get 44, even to get 44, even to get 44, going to be 43, even to get 4. Sold him online buyer, 4,300. Barnhart, put him on number 100, and he has the option.
You might call him real quick. Call Bill, see what he wants to do, so we don't have to type it online. He might. You got kicked. You got kicked. She missed you?
Okay. 7 months, Brad, guys. 7 and 8 months, 3,000, 32.50, and 32 and a half, and 32 and a half, going to be 2 and a half. You still giving them the option on the next 5 up to 40, up to. Just a new deal, guys. Next 5. 32.50 and 32.5 and 35. You give out 35, 35, 35, 35, 37 and a half, 37 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half. Going to be 37.50 and 37 and a half and 37 and a half. 4 and 4,000. 4,000. 4 and 4,000. If you get 4,000, hold your gate. 4,000 and 4,000. 4 and 4,000. If you get 4,000. If you get 4,000. What about 800 and 37.58 and 3,800? You give 8, 38.99 and 39, 34 and 4,000. If you get 4 and 39. Where's your other man? 4 and 4,000. If you get 4,000. If you get 4,000. 1 and 4,100 and 41 give 2 and 4,200 1 2 1 2 41 2 and 42 and 41 2 1 2 1 2. He's got the option on the next 30 something head, guys. 41 give 2 4,200 4,200 41 give 2 and 4,200 and 41 2 1 2 going to be 4,200 and 4,200 1 get 2 get 2 41 give 2. Sold him 4,100. Dale Hardesty. He wants 30 of them.
42 minus 5 would be 37. Well, we'll see how it goes.
Tell me, bring him in 30. You want to? Yeah, absolutely.
We got to do it so she keeps the tags right.
Okay.
These are gonna go to Dale Hardesty.
There'll be a few 6s, but most of them 7 8.
bred heifers went about 4,100. Wish my bred heifers went about 4,100. I only got 29 for mine.
I just need 5 of the next ones, right? After this, we need 5 more?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Well, you want 30?
You want 30? I've got a mark there. That's 5, 10, 15, 20. That's 25 right there, right? So you need 5 more, right?
Yeah.
Let me see at least.
Okay, these are going to be a Del Hardy.
Most of them. Most of them.
Dale George says you got to take 31.
Well, there's 6 in this group. Will that work, or you may hold one?
That'll work. Yeah.
Thank you, Dale. You deal with it.
Bring him a couple, 2 or 3 more. He'll be all right.
Now, I ain't limping. I pulled one off and had the toe. Yeah, let them go. 31.
Okay, these are going to be a Del Hardy speed.
Mike's waiting on them white faces, ain't you? Brackets are nice. There's 10 of them. Fancy.
Outside here, same way.
Del Hardy speed.
Cool deal, ain't it, Johnny?
I love him.
One right there coming out the gate.
That's what?
Yes, sir. Try to just worm them and turn them out. Tag them. Keep an eye on them. Turn them out on the east side. So we keep a better eye on them instead of being out there with them cows. All right. We'll talk about it afterwards.
All right, what you got coming in next, George?
Six more, Johnny. Just like them.
All right, guys, here's 6 more, 32.50 and 35 and 35. You go out 35, 35, 37, 37.50 and 37.4 and 4,000 here, 4,000 here, 4,000 here, 4 and 4,000 here, 37 and a half, $8 and 30, 30, 39 and 39, 39, 39, 39, 39, 39, 39 and 3,900 and 30, hey, you can and 30, hey, good 900. All online, guys, you're all out 3,900 and 30, hey, you can and 39, 39, 39, 4 and 4,000 here, 4 and 4,000, 4,000 to give it 9, not 4, not 1 and 41 and 4,100 1 and 41 and 41 2 and 41 2 42 42 42. You got Gary at 4,200 and 41 2 42 online. You're going to be 242 and 41 2 41 get 2 and 4,200 and 41 2 41 get 2 41 give 2 and 4,100 now 2 but 2 get 200. Sold them to you 4,100, sir. Andrew Mivis. Yes, sir.
Well, that's the last of that sort. We got of that sort. We got white faces coming next. Buy the white faces, go with them here in just a second. You take 6 this time. Thank you. You bet.
You get 6.
White faces coming next.
Yeah. Here comes the Baldies. Here's ones I kind of dig, George.
Ooh, Johnny. Well, how bigger?
How far bred? 6, 7 months.
They're all 90 days window, Johnny.
They'll all be coming in that 90-day window, guys. 3,000, 32.50, and 32.50, and 32 and a half, 5, and 35. You give out 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 37 a hand, 37 a hand, 37 to 4,000, and 4,000, 4,000, able to get 4,000, able to get 4, and 4,000, able to get 4,000, what about 800, and 30, 30, 30, 30, 9, and 9, you get 9, 30, able to get 9, 39, 39, 4, and 4,000, and 4,000, able to get 4,000, able to get 4,000, going to be 1, and 4,100, and 4,100, able to 4,100, able to 1, and 4,100, and 4,100, able to get 1 here, 41, and 41, and 4,100, able to get 41, 41, 41, 41, 41, now 2, and 42, 1, 2, and 42, 1, 2, 4,200, and 42, and 41, 2, 1, 2, 41, able to get 2, sold them 4,100. Mr. Horn, thank you, sir. 41.
All right, Johnny, these have just a little Brangus influence to them. They just a flick of Brangus, more influence. Oh,
George?
4 biggins, I'm sorry. 4 biggins, yeah. 4 big biggins.
I like these.
You're fancy now. These are the big girls.
Right here, 32, 55, and 35, and 35, you go out 35, 35, 35, 35, 37, and 37 to 4,000, and 4,000, 1, and 4,100, 4,100, wait, 1250, 4,100, and 41, and 4,100, 41, 2, now 2, and 41, 2, half 2, and 42, down 250, and 40, to get 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, to get 42, 50, now 3, and 43, 43, 43, 43, and 4,300, and 4,300, to get 43, to get 43, to get 43, to get 42 and a half, 3, and 43, and 43, 3, 43, 43, now 3, and 4,300, and 40, to get 3, and 4,300, 4,300, 43, to get 3, so 42.50 on Mivus.
Was it David?
What was his first name?
Andrew?
Andrew.
Thank you, sir. All right, here comes the Brangus bulls, don't it? Forgot about the big one. All right, John, have just a flick more here, a little navel to them.
George pulled these 4 off, had just a flick of ear, 5 of them, guys, and just a little bit of that little navel down there. There's a
Here, John, there's 5 right behind them.
5 right here.
5 and have the option.
You have option on the next 5.
You talk about the right kind, now raise the big old
We'll raise you the biggins catch right there. 3,000, 250, and 32 and a half, 5, and 35, and 35, 37 of 37 of 37 of going to be 4,000, 4,100, and now 2, going to be 2, going to get 3, 4, and 44, 44, 44, 43, 44, and 40. You come to buy them. 44, now 5, and 45, and 4,500, 5 here, 45, and 44. Did you get 5, and 4,500? Yes, sir. 45, and 4,500, 5 here, 5 here. Going to be 45. What about you, Matthew? 45, and 4,500, and 4,500. 4,500 and 44. Now 5 here. 5 to get 5 here. Sold him 4,400. Michael Armitage. Yes, sir. He'll take 10.
She's just a little crippled there up front. Just one. Pulled her off, John. She's just a little crippled down.
She's 2-year-old. She's 8 months bred. George pulled her off. Stepped on that rock out there. She kind of got a little sore-footed. That's all. 2,000. 22.50 and 22 and a half 5 and 25, 27 and 27 and a half 7 and a half 3,000. I'm gonna get 3,000. Gonna be 2 and a half 5 and 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 3,500 and 35 and 35, 37.50 and 37. Gonna be 37. Gonna be 37. Gonna be 37.50 and 37 and a half and 4 and 4,000 1 and 4,100 and 4,100 4,100 1. You're out and you're out 41 and 4,100 1. Here's order 4,000. That will be Jason Mivas. That's it. Lone Wolf Consignment. Thank you guys very much. That was an outstanding set of bred heifers. We've got their feeder steers on Wednesday. If they're as good as the heifers, they'll hang a good big carcass. Thank you guys, Lone Wolf Consignment. Nice heifers. Heifers come down there at Chickasha, guys. See what we got. They're 3 and 4, and they're 5 years old. And they're 7 and 8 months bred. Cattle come down there at Chickasha. All right, right there, here, 3,000, 250, and 32 and a half, and 32 and a half 5, and 35, you got 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, and 3,500, and 3,500, you get 35, you get 35, you get 35, you get 3,500, and 35, and 3,500, 5, here, you get 5, and 3,500, and 30, I'm gone, guys, 35, and 3,500, 5, you get 5, 35, 35, 35, and 3,500, 5 here, and I. Sold him 32 and a half. Jason Mivas. How much he got done? She by herself? 3 by 5, 2,000. 22 and a half 5, and 25, and 25, and 7 and a half, and 27 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, going to be 27, going to be 27.50, and 27 and a half, going to be 27.50, and half 3, and 2,000 1, and 31, 31, 32, and 32, 31, 2, 3, and 33, 33, 34, 34, 34, 34, and 33, we get 34, 33, 34, sold her 3,300, Stover. Little Brangus, 3 years old. She's 8 months bred. Guys, there's a rip. 35, 35, and 35, 750, and 37, and 37, and 35, 37, and 37.50. Hold your gate, 37.50, and 4, and 4,000, and 4,000, able to get 4,000, able to get 4,000, able to get 4,000, 4, and 4,000, able to get 4,000, going to be 4, and 41, and 4,100, able to get 42, and 4,200, 41, give 2, 41, give 2, sold, 4,100, Horn. You take 4,100 for your dog, ma'am? Well, you're the first woman I've ever seen that sell one. I got everything in my house for sale. I got 5 dogs. Buy one, take 4. No, I'm not. For 4,100, yeah, I might. Sold. Auctioneer takes it. Chris, can I get a loan? Hey, babies having babies. Kev's about the size of the cows. Still done? Babies having babies right there. 35 and 35 and 35. You go out 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 3,500 and 35 and 3,500. 5 here. 3,000, 32.50 and 32 and a half 5 and 35 30. For the pairs, for 2 pairs, 3,500. I got 2 and a half. Going to be 5. 750, 37.54. 4,000, 2 and a half. 4250, 41, 4100, 4100, and 4100. They got live calves on the ground already. 4100 and 4100. Hey, one and 4100. Hey, one. Hey, sold them 4,000 on Stover.
Oh, yeah, I got a picture you had of wrong.
No, shit, I was waiting on you to call me. I guess I should call you.
2,500 and 25 and 25 and 2750 and 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 3,000, 32 and a half, 2 and a half, 5 and 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, going to be 3,500 and 3750 and 30, 7 going to be 37 going to be 37 going to be 3750 and 37 4 and 4,000, 4,000, 4,000, 4250 and 42 and a half. Here it was sold 4,000 on Stover. You keep that baby warm this weekend. Put it in your house, Alan.
Jason Minus and Andrew.
Andrew and Jason's different.
Seven by 5 and 7 by 5. 2,100 and 21. 2,100. 2,100. 21. Now 2 and 22 and 2,200. 2 3 and 23 4 and 24. 5 and 25 600. 5 600 and 25. Going to be 26 7 and 7 and 7 and 7 and 7 and 7 and 700 and 7 and 27. Going to get 27. Going to be 27. Going to be 27 7 and 2,700 and 20. Going to get 700. Going to be 2,700. I sold them at 2,600. Chris 3.
Thank you.
Outstanding job, young man. Absolutely. Thank you. You betcha. 125 and 25, you give out 25, 27 and a half, and 27 and a half, 32 and a half, 35, 35, 37 and a half, 40, then 40, 40, 40 and a half, 40, and 7 and a half, 40, and half, 40, you get 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 a 40 here, 42 and a half, 45, 45, 7 and a half, 47 and a half, 45, 47, 50, 47 and a half, sold 145. Those need to be preg checked. Send them to shoot, have them preg checked. PO. PO. They need to be preg checked. Tell them to get them preg quick. As quick as we can.
Boys down there in Texas said thank you, John.
You're very welcome. That was a cool set of heifers to sell. My privilege. They're 5 to 7 months bred, guy. 10 years old, they're 5 to 7 months bred. 2255 and 25 and 25, 2100 and 2100, 21, 2100, 21, 21 and 21 and 2100, 17 and a half, 18, 18, 18 and a half, 1900 and 19 and a half, and 2050 and 21 and 21 and a half, 1 half and a half here, not 2 and a half, and 22 and a half. Christian, you're out 2250 and 22 and a half, half and a half, going to be 22. Christian, you're out 2250 and 22 and a half, going to be 22 and a half here, half and a half, going to be 22, bit of a half, 22 and a half, sort of at 2200. McGee. Any pancakes? Rich boy, huh? 10 and open, 120. 125, and 25, you give out 25, 25, 25, 25 here, 5 here, 125, and 25 here, 125 and 5 here, 25 here, 110, 15. You bidding, Rob? 115. Booker 110. Hundred ten, 110, 15, and 10 and 15, 110 and 15, and 20, 125, and 25 here, 25 here, 30, and then 30, we get 37, 50, now 30, and then 30, now 2 and a half, now 2 and a half, we get 2 and a half, go to 2 and a half, 5, and 35, 37 and a half, 37 and a half, 37 and a half here, Booker, 135 on number 12. I thought you were eating up there, not bidding. I'm sorry, sir. You might go talk to Mr. Booker real quick and see if you can have her. Cody. I have no idea. Well, he ain't getting that baby. Then he's going to be pissed when he just bought the cow. What do you got here? Oh, what about 50? 55, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, and 55 here, 60, and now 5, 65, 70, get 75, 75, 75, get 5, and 75 here, 75 here, 75, 75, S1, 70. It's got to be a bull calf, though. Is it a bull calf? Did he say bull calf? Tell me bull calf. That's what the text I got. It's two bull calves. I don't know. 50. 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 60, and 5, and 65, 70, now 75, 75, 75, 80, 80, you give 85, 85, 85, 85, 85, 85, 85, 85, sold her, 80, Ricardo. Warm front. $1. $5 and $105 here. Going to be 105. Going to be 110. Going to be 110 and 15, 20 and 25, 25 and 30. We get 30. We get 5. We get 40. We get 5. We get 45, 45, 45, 50, 5, 60, 5, 165. 2.5, 5. 165. You done? Doug, 162 and a half, 6. 8X. Run too late. Yeah. Yeah. Got that same cow we sold last time, a while ago. 50. 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 60, now 5, 65, 70, 75, give 80, 5, could be 85 and 90, and 100 here, could be 90, 90, could be 85, 90, 85, 90, Burns, 85. Yeah. 8 by 7, 10 by 7, 2,000, 2050, 20 and a half here, half here, half here, going to be 2050, and 2050, 50 and a half here, half here, half here, half here, George, 2,000. Put her on McGee. George said you can have her, Paul. $7 by 7, 2,000. 2100, 2100, 2100, 2100, 1, and 2, and 21 and 22, now 300, now 3, now 4, 4, now 5, and 25, get 6, and 26, 7, and 7, now 7, and 7, now 8, 8, now 9, and now 9, you get 9, 2900, and now 9, 900, 29, and 2900, 800, 900, done, 2800 on number 9. What you see, Oak? 2 years, she's 3 months bred, $1 a pound. 110 and 100 110, 20, going to be 20, going to get 30, going to get 40, going to get 50 now, 60, 100. She's 5 by 3, 150, 160. You still in? $1. She's 5 by 3, 110, 120, 30, 5, 40, 135, 40, now 5, 145. S 144. Probably somebody's old pet. $1.05 and 105 here. Good 105. Get 5. Get 5. Get 5. Get 5. Get 5. Now 5 here. 75, 80, 75. Give 80. Now 5. 85 and 90. Get 95, 95, 95, $95. $1 bid. Now 5 here. 5 here. Burns $1. $125 and 25 and 25, 25, 27, 50 and 75, 32 and a half, 35, 37 and a half, going to be 140 and 40, 40, 40, 40, 40, 40, 40, 40 here. Booker 137 and a half, 12. Say it again.
Oh, it might be.
They all weigh the same. They all bring the same. She weighed 1210. Is y'all's screen's not right?
It might be frozen.
Oh, it hasn't? Okay. Sorry.
We'll let you know. We'll let you know.
4 by 8. $1,000. Here's a bargain, guys. 1,000. 1,000 and 1,000 here, 1,100 and 10, 11, 11, 1,200, 1,300, 13 to 14, even to get 14, even to get 14, even to get 1,400 and 13, 14 and 1,400 about there, even to get 14, even to get 15, 1,600. You guys are both out sitting. 16, 15, 16, 17, 1,700, 17 down here, 17, 18, 1,800, 18. Sold her 1,700. Ricardo.
Nice, so one good enough today.
What Bill said. Well, I don't know what sex is this calf. He sent me, I need 2 bull calves. They don't matter. Man, these calves is calf. $5 and 105 here. Going to be 105. Get 5. Get 5. Get 5. Get 5. Get 5. Now 5 here. 5 here. Going to be 105. 105 and 105. Get 5. Get 10 here. 110. 15 here. 110. 15 and 15 here. 110. 15 here. Chris 110. Nothing. Brandon Moore. Straight. Doesn't matter. I've got 2 bull calves. Mr. Yost, how come you didn't buy any of those good bred heifers? We'll just think what their calves will bring next fall. Bring 3,500. What's this? Huh? 5 by 4, $1,000. 10, 1100, yeah, 10, 11, 10, 10, 11, 11, 10, 11, 10, 11, 11, 1200, 14, 1600, 1600, 1600, 1600, and 14, 16, and 14, 16, 14, 16, 14, 16, sold, 1400 cowboy.
I was just making damn sure we get a heifer bought and they don't take it. We're stuck with a $1,000 baby calf. And it's going to be 2 degrees this weekend. I damn sure don't want it.
Five by. Huh? Somebody's got better eyes than I've got. Can see that tag. 5 by 8. She's either 3 months or 8 months. I think it's 3. 2,000. She's pretty good. 2,000, 2,100, and 21, and 2,100, 21, 21, 21, now 1, now 2, and 21, 2, 3, and 3, 23, 24, 24, 25, 25, 600, and 25, 6, 7, and 7, 7, 800, 8, 9, and 29, 3, and 3,000, I'm going to get 3,001, and 3,100, you're going to go light loaded, 31, and 3,100, and 3,100, so 3,000, Terry, 5.
Not leave them locked up for a minute. Go get some straw out.
50. 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, and 55 here, 60, and 65, and 70, 75, 75, 75, 80, 80, and 75, give 80, 80, 75, give 80, so 75, S1. You remember a year ago when we had all those cows all Kevin, we put all that hay in those big 6 pins? Might be a place to put them this weekend. Put some straw hay, huh? Put some straw hay out into the wind block.
I'll put about 3 bales in a row, put a couple out around it.
Or just 5? I'm doing just one by them.
How many?
Hey, Cody, I got a 69 head of steers from 6 tail.
She looks miserable.
Hit the price.
10 cents a pound. 15 cents a pound. What about you taco guys? 15? 15 cents a pound. Sold her a dime a pound, S1. How many did they say you caught? Bred heifers? Everybody's got bred heifers. Five years and 2 months. 2,000. 2,000, 2,100, 2,100, 2,100, 2,100, 21, and 2,100, what you give on, and 2, 3, and 3, 4, 500, 5, and 2,500, 5 here. Chris, you got her 2,400 on 3. Break JR's other shoulder. Outside lid. Nice heifers.
What are the steers weigh? Are they that big?
3 years and she's 5 months, 2100 and 21 and 2250 and 22 and a half here, half here, 2250 and 2250 and 20 to get 2 and a half, going to be 20 that 2 and a half, 5 and 25, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 3, 3,000, I get 3,000, I get 3,000, you're out of line, 3, 3,000, I get 3,000, I get 3,000, 3,000, you're out, Christian, 3,000, 3,000, and 3,000, I get 3,000, I get 3,000, I get 3,000, sold her 27 and a half, Chris 3.
Been a pretty nice cow. She just calmed down a skosh. I would too. I was in for a minute, but she turned around. I said, nope. I like a milk with a fat and sappy belly. I like her.
One and open, $2 a pound. $2. I got it, 205. 205, now 5 here, $5, 5, get 5, get 5, get 5 here, Chris, $2, 7X. Here's one of them easy doers, easy keepers, Chris. $1. $5 and 105, 55, 50 cents a pound, and 55, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55 here, 55, 55, 55, 65, 75, 75, you get 75, 80, 5, 90, $5, 5, 10, 15, 20, 120, sold 115, Ricardo 2. $135 and 35. You give out 35, 35, 35, 37, 50 and 37 of man. We get 37 of man and 37 and a half and 42 and a half, 45, 45, 45, 45, 45. Now 750, now 50. $1.50. Both Johns are out. 150 and 52 and a half. We get 2 and a half. Going to be 2 and a half. We get 2 and a half here. Booker 150. 22. $2. $1.50. $1.55 and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, $1.25 and 25, 35, 35, 40, 45, 50, 150, 150, 145, 50, now 5 and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55 and 55 here, 5, 5 here, 5 here, Booker 150. 22.
Asked Oakley how show pigs work. He said they suck. You judging this weekend when it's going to be 2 degrees?
10 by 6, 2,000. 2,100, 2,100, 100, 21, 21, 21, 2, 102, 21, give 2, and 2,200, and 21, 1, 2, 21, 2, 3, and 23, 50, and 23 and a half, going to be 23 and a half, going to be 23 and a half here, McGee, 2,300.
You're judging the day of the Bears district?
February 14th, yeah. February 14th, they got that one for me. Go make 500.
Who was judging this pig show?
Four years and she's 5 months bred, 3,000. 32.50 and 30, going to be 2 and a half, 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 going to be 32.50 and 32 and a half here, now 5 and 35, 37 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and 4 and 4,000, going to get 4,000 here, 4 and 4,000 here, 4,000, 8, 9, 39, 38, now 9, now 4 and 4,000 and 4,000, going to get 4,000 here, 4,000 here, Mavis, 3,900. That's a nice cow, Jason. Uh-huh. Yep. Pretty nice.
I need to know if it's a heifer or bull. No, make damn sure.
I think it's
Oh,
a
heifer. Heifer.
200, 250, 3, half, 4, half, 5, half, 6, half, 7, half, 8, half, 9, half, 950, $1,000, $1,000, 1,000, sold 950.
What's the name?
Alberto, Roberto.
If it had been a bull, we could have hit him another lick or two. Got an order for bull kit.
10 by 5 plus 2,100. 21, 2,100, 2,100, 150, and 2,150, and 21 and a half here, 1 half and a half and a half here, 1 half here, now 2, and 22, and 2,200 here, 1 half, 250, and 20, 2 and a half, bit of a half here, you're going to be 22 and a half here, half here, you're going to be half, McGee, 2,200.
Gotta be a bull. That's what my message said. It's the reason I made sure. Took a nap. What, are you up all night? I don't know.
Jeez. Hit about them all. 10 by 5 plus 2,100 and 21, 2,100, 21 half here, 1 half here, 2,150 and 22, and 23, going to be 2 and a half, going to get 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, going to get 3, and 23, 23, 23, 23, yeah, Paul, and 23, and 23, going to get 3, and 23, going to get 3, going to be 23 and a half, 23.50, and 23 and a half here, McGee, 2,300.
Takes a nap at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Like, I might take one at 2, 2:30, but not at 12. Up all night? Yeah, he might have been. I was going to hope your people online got off, because I'd say, got a man that wants to buy them heifers, and he forgot to hit snooze. We got to redo it. Don't do that. What do we got? Little gooseneck just showed up.
6 more? They're just getting them unloaded? 6 getting unloaded? Is it Macklemore? 1 year, she's open. Give $2. Bryce, where are you? 210, 220, 230, 240, 250, 250, 250, 260, 270, 280, 290. Bryce, 280 on 9. Give. They are 4 and 5 months bred. $1,000. 1,100. I don't know. 1,200, maybe to get 13, maybe to get 14, maybe to get 15, going to be 16, 17, going to be 18, going to be 19, and 2,000, now 2,001, and 2,100, and 2,100, one here, 1.5 here, going to be 2,100, and 21, you're out of line, 2,100, and 21, half one, and 21, 21.50, and 21.5 here, 1.5 here, going to be 21.50, and 21.5 here, 1.5 here, going to be 21.50, and 21.5 here, so about 2,100, Christian Wade. Online buyer, Christian Wade.
Was the last BCLC?
5 and 7 months bred, 2,000. 22.50 and 22.50 and 22.5 5 and 25 27.5 7.5 7.5 27.5 3 and 3,000 3,000 3 and 3,000 3,000 3,000 3,000. What about 2,800? Would that help you? 2,800 2,800 28.9 2,900 2,900 and 2,900. They get 9. They get sold 2,800. Ricardo, goodbye. Well, guys, thank y'all for being here. You guys, cow buyers, thanks for being here. See y'all next week. Safe travels. God bless. See some of y'all back here tomorrow, 9 o'clock in the a.m. See ya.